Okay, so I'm really excited about our episode today because I know I can't speak for the two of you, but I think most of us internally, our favorite time of year is when we launch our new items because there's been a lot of discussion, behind the scenes, 2 years from you,
It's
Taryn,
Christmas
planning.
morning.
Yeah. And then finally it's out and we can all shop because that's really what we're here for, right? And so we're going to be talking about new items. What was the inspiration behind our fall launch, our favorite things, how we would use them, that kind of thing. But if you are listening to the show and you would like to watch the show, we're going to put this episode on YouTube because there's going to be a lot of photography where we'll show you the products we're talking about as we're talking about them. So if that appeals to you, then go over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Ballard Designs, and be sure to watch the episode there because you'll be able to see what we're talking about. But hopefully, if you're not going there, then you can at least follow along and go check it out later. All right, I am very excited for this episode because I don't know about the two of you, but new items and launching your new collection, talking about it before it comes out, and finally it comes out. It's one of my favorite parts of our job. Yeah. So we're going to just chit chat about our new collection, the inspiration. Taryn, you're going to kind of take us there where we're coming from. And then we have our merchant here, Valerie Naples. She is the merchant for dining and kitchen. You were also the merchant for lighting for a while, and you're going to kind of just
hand over bedroom. Correct?
Yeah, that's right, in bedroom.
Yep. All the bedroom.
All the things.
So lots of furniture and I'm pretty
out of town.
For sure. Yeah.
So we're sorry. I know
I kicked her out.
She left.
We said, who else is available to chitty chat? Our favorite things.
So, okay, Taryn, you kick us off. Tell us where the sort of initial sort of nuggets of inspiration came from. What colors were we looking at? Where did the vibe start?
So for this new product launch, we specifically, as you guys kind of know from talking 3 years, it's like 2 years in advance. So it's a wild time to be thinking 2 years ahead. So if you think about it coming out now and you think back to 22 and 23, and there was just this kind of time of reflection where 2020 had happened and 21 was still recovering from 20. And I think everybody was deep in their home, really exploring what their home could be and should be and redoing. And so this was definitely the time when we're all finally getting back together. And even us, I feel like in 22, we were back in the office really chatting together, and it really was that more collaborative. So I truly feel like this launch is beautiful because it really was a in-depth look at kind of our customer and who that is and what they love. So really, I know everyone you're listening because you love decorating. And so I really feel like this book is an ode, or this launch is an ode to those who love to decorate, because we really dove into materials and finishes that we just all were in love with, especially with Grand Millennial being so popular and Coastal Grandmother and all these trends we've heard about and seeing that we kind of, navigating through kind of this nostalgia. So in our own, we looked through, some of our catalogs from when the company began, and we're giggling at some of the photography. And I know we've giggled about that before on here too, but really truly looking at the product and being like, wow, some of this resonates again. This is absolutely wild to see the full cycle of a company when it started in the 80s and to watch it.
The 80s are coming back, in other, especially in fashion, I think.
For sure. Oh, and I think the home too. And so I think something about that. And then again, looking at, I think there's been a lot more value put on antiques. There's this very artisanal, antique, one of a kind thing that we all are really gravitating to. We all want something special. And so kind of antiques lend that because, at one time they might have been manufactured, but if they're no longer, being made, now they're this one-off thing and, you can't find any around and it really becomes more special. So that's kind of how we built the kind of idea of the whole launch for this book. So getting into some of the details of kind of things we were looking at that you guys will all recognize, especially all of you who love decor. But we did, the Bobbin furniture. That's been the trend. We've seen it in the market and it continues. And it was just something about that added layer of texture. And I'll say that repetitively, I'm sure, but we all know it. We felt it when rooms were monochromatic. That's how people continue to talk about elevating those spaces is through, the room we're sitting in right now, it has pink walls, but they're not just pink, they're grass cloth. So there's a texture to it. And that, while we're sitting in here, we can feel it. There's movement to it. And that allows it just kind of feel more warm. So again, like the Bobbin, we did a whole bedroom collection that we can go, I'm sure. Shout out to Dover.
Yeah. Called the Dover collection.
Yeah. And we did the whole shebang. So if you want just one, set of drawers, you can get just a set of drawers. If you want the bed, you can get the bed.
Nightstand.
2 sizes of nightstands, 2 different kinds of dressers.
Yeah.
And because you listen, there'll be another.
We explain the Bobbin thing because it's a very classic sort of a way of furniture making, turning on a.
But I didn't look up that history. You're gonna have to look that one.
No,
I looked up the burnt bamboo because that's another one of our trends. We really felt like that finish is so important. You can always find a burnt bamboo piece in any antique store. A lot of times in smaller pieces, but there has been a ton of that. And then there's also historically quite a few pieces in the Victoria and Albert Museum too that speak to, because the Chinese began that in 600. It was, they found pieces from then. And
that's why.
There's a whole article on Bunny Williams' website. She lived now. Williams.
Lawrence. Yeah.
Yes. William Lawrence website. That speaks to actually the history of this, if anyone wants to dive in and actually know some of the history there. But that was one that, that resurgence. And then Dana, who we've had forever, our Dana chairs, have that bamboo motif. And it speaks to in 1800s how there just wasn't enough bamboo in the region in Europe. And so they were carving it to look like bamboo. And so that's where that kind of trend came from. And in this case, ours, we really were looking at that true burnt, beautiful bamboo. Yeah. And so it's made from it, which has tons of strength. And it's such a great material to add into your home, again, for another layer. Yeah. And a little bit more of that brown furniture. Speaking to the brown, that's
it's not just a flat brown. It's got that
highs, lows, it's texture.
Almost tortoise.
It's very tortoise. And I call it tortoise as well.
True. Like we were saying, as we were back in the office, we were really collaborating. And so we came up with the Newberry collection, which really goes across categories. Several merchants collaborated anywhere from an office desk to bedroom furniture
to a wall shelf,
stools, wall shelf.
Oh my gosh, that entry hall.
Right.
The tree.
Yep. There's a whole tree. There's a whole tree. So again, this is such a treat for you guys listening who are in the mood to shop, because everything is live on our website, and you can see that if you want that kind of bamboo in your home and you really want to grab onto this trend, we have provided you so many different small pieces or bigger pieces, more in the pipeline too. So you're going to be able to fit this in your home, and it's going to go with your linens and even your burlaps. And it just, the stylistically goes so many ways.
True.
It can sit next to lacquer. It can sit next to, acrylic. There's something so wild about this material and the way it just can transform a space, and it adds traditionalness for sure to any space, really.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that. Again, grass cloth. Again, it's all texture and things. And we have had, Ballard has had a collection for a long time, and we have a different, so we've added a few more shapes and sizes to that, and we've continued, and even we're gonna, again, some color.
Yeah,
you guys will see it next spring. I know. Yeah. This is gonna be full of tidbits, because we're working 2 years in advance, so I have the magic ball and
Easter egg.
But Valerie and I are guess what else is coming?
You're over this collection. You're already on to 2 years from now.
Yeah. But there's so many great things. Another one is really, Caroline and I were talking about bone inlay. Another really classic, style.
Art, and it's so artisan.
Right.
Somebody is carving each piece of bone and shaping it and placing it into inlay or placing into a pattern. It is really time consuming. It's because it is truly made by somebody.
And it is expensive, but there's something about, like, we were just talking, like, you know, you can do like a flat white finish, like just a white wooden finish, and that would be beautiful. But there's something about, I guess, the gradation of white and ivory on the bone and the almost like little lines that really add this extra detail and like layer and make it really special.
And although they will be close, but it's also, no one is going to have an identical one.
Right. And that's what's special, like you said, one of a kind things that you're really like, this is going to be different. And I think, you know, we really do a great job kind of speaking to that for our customers to say, like, this is really handmade and it's going to vary and everything is a little special and unique. So you're not going to have two that match 100% because it really is such a natural substance, and it's the handwork is really insane. And so we have anything in bone inlay from mirrors to little tables, a lot of really great products.
And they were like 3 mirrors too.
Right. Oh, we did it
3 different
again.
mirrors.
It was one of the materials, again, we really thought it just, with it being shades of white, and you can dye it as well. We have bone inlay boxes as well that have some beautiful blue indigo, which would be great, you know, sitting us anywhere, putting anything in there. It just sits so well. Again, if you think about bone and you think about those natural kind of, it has the highs and lows. And so it really fits with a white room, a cream room, a black room. Like, it's, you know, it just really mixes so well. Again, you can sit it on an acrylic table. It would look great. You can sit
I have a great tray that I bought like 10 years ago, and it just still looks good. And it just goes anywhere. And
I mean, it can go coastal, it can go timeless, it can go...
What's the name of the side table? It's so cute.
The side table is Naomi.
Guys, did you both have that in your notes together?
Well, I wrote it down because I was in India last fall when we were approving that sample, and it has those little layers of scallops on it, and it has all that texture. And when they brought it out, it was just, I mean, I feel like everyone kind of collectively gasped, and because seeing it in person and you can see like all the different facets of the bone, and you know, we love a scallop and all those different variations of a white, you can really place that anywhere in your home. So very excited about that.
And it's a good size too. You know, like, it's not tiny, but it's not huge. So I feel like it could go in lots of different,
slide it in a lot of different places.
And then the mirror wise too, how fantastic does bone look against a wallpaper? Like, talk about, you know, your eye having a moment to like span a room and then like pause, like a big pause on that space.
The other thing about the mirrors, while we're just on that topic, is the scale of them was really exciting to me, because I don't know, I think a great mirror is something that everyone should have. You know, if you're in an apartment or you're in like the first house and you are trying to buy things that you'll want to have forever, I think there are some things that like will always work, like a great sideboard. It's a media cabinet in this house, it's an entry hall in this house, and the normal dining room becomes a dining room sideboard. I feel like a mirror, a great, really big mirror with an interesting shape or material, then you will always find a place for that. And so that was like the winter mirror.
I think that about the drink tables too.
Yeah,
like
true.
Those petite or the bone one, like that Naomi, that can go with you forever.
Yeah.
Like that can sit next to so many things. And so, and mirrors are the same. I totally agree. Mirrors and art or something that it's so special. You will take it with you for sure.
And personal, you know, like you're not going to just a Target and grabbing something like that. It's something you might want to pass down to your family because they're going to see that in the house, you know, growing up. And then they're going to want that hanging on their wall, you know, for their family. It's just something special and unique. You'll have in your own.
Yeah. Okay, wait, let's go back to color though. That we haven't talked about color. And
I know I hadn't finished my list of like,
okay. All right, we're jumping around.
Oh no,
we got excited.
Well, I know everyone listening is like, I just need to get online and shop. So, but so Burl is another one we've all seen, and why we're all loving Burl is it just is such a unique veneer, and it adds so much impact. Again, it's another visual layer, but it's natural. So it comes as it is. It's this beautiful markings, and again, no two are alike. And so it again has that artisanal feel to it that, you know, really makes it unique. And so we've added some dining tables previously. And so we added
jacks.
Yes. And so we added a sideboard to complement it. Or in any of your space too. It would work beautiful with a traditional brown dining table if you have one. This would add such an element of transitional to a space that might feel like if you're in your room and you're like, everything kind of feels old in here, like this would be a great piece to put in and kind of re-energize the space.
Totally.
I think the sideboard is actually really cool because we're mixing that Burl, which feels fresh and modern, with that great unique pattern on the door fronts. And then the case is actually a chestnut color.
Yeah. So
which
it's all
goes
trimmed down
back to that really like darker brown that we're really loving right now. And a lot of our chairs that we introduced are that same chestnut color. So you can really mix and match and have some of that timeless and some of them like modern feel as
That's
well.
what I loved about that Jack table. It's sober. You could do it with a white chair. You could do it with a wood. Like if you have a antique set of chairs from your grandmother, do the Burl table and it instantly sort of makes that more modern, you know?
Yeah, it's like anything that's multicolor and then, but it's natural. So it's kind of goes like the exact same thing we said about the bone and of the burnt bamboo is like, there's multicolors in it. So it almost lends itself to complement anything of a solid color. So to your point, a white chair, a black chair, you can do so much. You could do a upholstered chair with it. There's just so many things that go with it that it's such a great, interesting piece too.
Yeah.
It's so versatile. So Burl was one. We really, again, speaking to that grandma kind of this ode to our past kind of, we did a lot of bow motifs too. I think we all saw it last Christmas. Those of us who are kind of really paying attention and everyone, no matter your age, bows and hair are bad, bows on dresses, so we have quite a few. We have like a little petite little drink table again that has a bow. Oh, thank you.
That's the skirt and the little bow. So
yes, we have it on some napkin rings and some entertainment such. And a lamp. Yeah. I mean, so if you want that kind of feminine touch, I think we got quite a few. And kind of in that same, bows make things kind of feel special. We did a lot of details too in upholstery. There's a lot of kind of really focusing on, we even have on the details, excuse me. And so there's different ottomans with little details that are that make it stand out, that just make it special. You're not going to be able to just, it is going to be custom to you.
Yeah.
We have the Pierce chair we've had for a while. We're added a slip to that into Lennox. And Lennox is a really clean, again, if you're trying to get a little more of that transitional look, Lennox is such a clean shape. You are going to love it. It is squared and boxed
collection.
Yes, but we now have a chair.
Yeah.
And anyway, you can get in whatever fabric you want. There was an ottoman I wrote down that was so wonderful.
Nash, Ukiah.
I love that you were literally listening. Like,
There are two
on. Like, come at me. Nash. Yeah. Oh, Nash with that transitional leg. Yes. Yeah. It's just so simple. Oh my gosh. It would go in anyone's home. Yes.
Yeah, that's a great one because it's just big. It's upholstery. If you have a great fabric, I mean, it's just a fabric with a big repeat. It looks great on, and it's sometimes hard, I think, with a big repeat to like get enough of it where you can really read on the fabric. And this is the perfect way to do it.
And then we have an ottoman that has that bamboo detail leg. Speaking of the bamboo, and then the fabric on top is cut on a bias on the top to make it bad looking.
It's called Lucaya.
It is fantastic.
Yeah, it's sort of like a dressmaker detail a little bit, and there were a few things in here.
Is it called on the bias? Did I say that right or no?
No, I think that's right. Well,
it sort of makes that you take a stripe, and if you cut it on the bias, you stitch them all together. You make a box. You make square on
concentric squares.
Yes. And then we got this together.
Yes, I know.
And in the print, it actually they added a tape around the edges, didn't they?
Yes, like the grain version.
We did two options, yes, because it's so specific. But again, it is absolutely
you can view it from the top. It's really pretty, just kind of that detail that goes around there.
Yeah, so we specifically picked striped fabric so that when it's cut on the bias, it creates this concentric square. So that's kind of the reason it comes in two fabrics.
Oh my gosh.
That's why. Yeah.
And it's perfect for a tray. We all love trays. We talk about trays all day. And anybody who wants something soft, So your kids can launch from your sofa to this.
Or you can put your feet on it. That's great too.
Yeah, this will look so good in my living room, and
I think you need it.
that I already have.
I mean, the shots in if you see the shot online, guys, you are going to love it. It's an exciting green sofa.
Yeah.
And again, more grass cloth with a capri side. I mean, it is so, it's just all those things we're all loving.
I know.
So yes,
And
back to
bamboo.
colors.
So-
How about we lead into colors from there?
Yeah.
There you go.
Really looking again at what we all kind of found out that we missed. And then in 2020 and 21, we realized how much nature, again, was so good for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we took that and really played up a lot of greens and blues. We looked at, what calms us and what energizes us as people and how we live and what how can we make our homes feel good. So I do think, again, the brown thing that we've been talking to, I know we've been talking, but for us, we've been developing all this time. So now we really have quite the assortment of brown, which goes so well because, again, it's just one of those colors you can look out your window and see. And so it's browns, greens,
It's
and
classic.
blues will never go out. And we've talked about that.
I mean, we've been seeing blue and white in home decor and just in magazines for so long, and obviously it's a classic combination. Like, I don't think anyone is ever gonna it's never gonna be wrong.
Never going away.
There's something about adding an accent color to blue and white to me that gives it a little bit more longevity, and it'll make a palette that you can live with a little bit longer, because there's more variety, I suppose. I love adding the green in there because I just think it kind of adds more dimension.
Exactly. I think that's the exact word because it can start to feel like, oh, it's so easy. It's just blue and white, and I'm seeing the same thing. And when you add that color pop and you kind of weave it through there, it just seems, more elevated.
Right. Yeah, and so there's lots of spaces that we did that are sort of blue and green together, but we also did some blue and red, which I think is kind of fun.
Oh, yeah. We all know the red thread.
Yes, the red in fashion.
Yes. The red is definitely just this color that we overdid.
You even have it on your outfit.
I was about to say.
I have it trimmed out.
You're representing.
And it just is such an impactful color. It's so strong that it's really nice against those beautiful, natural, like everywhere. That's why I think when you do see flowers of such a vivid color and in reds, like they really like in the landscape, you see them because you can't, it's just a pop. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So we
Like a red lip.
It is like a red lip. But anyway, and then in our fabrics, we've also added so many wonderful versions of stripes. I think we've all kind of seen that too in fashion. The stripe became a wave, but it's still a stripe. So it's this variation on stripes. And we offer so many in our fabrics. And even our Maeve, it's this beautiful drapery and pose that has this beautiful little blue in and out wave. And I think we even did it in all a kind of mauve deep rose color too. So
I was loving the accent of pinks, and
it's like a dirty pink is still
mauve. Yeah.
It's that dirty, earthier pink, as I would call them.
I think it's just a more livable, it's less sweet, which I like, and I find it to be more palatable, I suppose. And, I think obviously blush is pretty, but it's not as easy to weave in as I think a mauve, which has more of a brown tone to it. So
it just doesn't feel as precious, I would say.
Yeah, as girly.
Right.
Yeah. It's more grown up.
For sure.
So yeah, we did that that Maeve drapery panel in a room that sort of had a almost like a plaid wallpaper. It had kind of a rug that is it's called the Kinsey rug, so I did write it down. The Kinsey rug is sort of like an ECAT.
I was going to say ECAT is definitely one of our trends.
ECAT rug in the mauve palette.
In that mauve, yes.
So good.
Yes. And we all know an ECAT is killer and so traditional. And yet it just elevates that space. And
I loved it on that hand knotted as a hand knotted rug, particularly because hand knotted rugs are so classic. last forever. But the ECAT pattern, while ECAT is a traditional pattern, it's not traditionally on a rug. So I kind of liked that.
That makes sense.
That's a combination.
Combination that makes it so transitional.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
And elevates it because it just isn't usually there.
Right. That was what I thought was really fun about it.
It's just that perfect level of earthiness that we've seen these last few years that continues.
Yeah.
It's that grounded to earth feeling again that we all really reflected on. I think the last few years, it's like, oh, we need this earth.
Yeah.
So
we need to be able to go outside.
We need this. It's good for us. So, what else do you have on your list? Because I feel like oh my gosh. Wait, speaking of brown. Guys, and this beautiful rug. You're just showing a dining room. There is this new dining collection we did called Anderson, and she is gorgeous.
She is.
I think it's a boy.
You think it's a boy?
Anderson?
You know what? We shouldn't be gender specific. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
You will love it. It really is. If you have been searching for the perfect tones of brown, because you keep hearing us say this and you just haven't found something that feels right, I hope this works for you because we have quite a few pieces. We've added a extension dining table.
Yeah.
The beautiful pedestals that are 3 legs and on wheels.
Like casters.
Yes, casters. I mean, so good.
It has
right?
the leaf stored inside of it.
This one, that was the original intent, but after playing with it, we decided to pull it out. And you can just store it. So because it was going to make really the apron kind of a little wider to have to fit it in there. So for your day to day, we want you to be able to use it and be carefree. So
got it.
Just have to find a little home for that leaf, but really it has those beautiful brass barrels at the bottom. And then, with the table, we also have some other beautiful pieces within the collection. So we have
the sideboard is stunning.
I was going to say, even if you did have a black dining table or something totally different, just adding this beautiful sideboard, and it looks like 6 drawers, but it's actually 2 doors. So for bigger things, and then the center is 2 drawers. Right?
Correct.
Yeah. So the edges are kind of faux. So you can put some larger pieces in there. We really try to think about that when we're, working through products and really how is our customer really going to use the piece, and will there be bigger storage? You don't want to just have like 6 napkins stored in your sideboard. You want to be able to actually load it up with things that you have.
So and it has this beautiful curve, and actually the bar that goes with it is like standalone, a fantastic piece. So this is one for full entertaining, guys. If you are looking for something classic that is going to be a bang for your buck, the bar itself has drink storage. So it has the wine glass storage on the top. It has a mirror in the back. It's 180 doors, so you can. Right, I'm making sure
it's so good looking.
So you can open this for a party. It has the shelves for all your bottles. Everyone can make their drink right there because it has a pull-out tray, so you can have your little cut lemons, your limes. It has drawers for all the napkins, all the jiggers. Like, you will be able to stock this thing, and when it is time to party, just open it up and add your fresh fruit and mints and let's go. Let's go. So it is a beast. I think you guys are going to love just the functionality here. And then again, you can close it and it just is a beautiful brown piece. So
there's something about those brass piano hinges against the walnut finish that I think is so pretty. And I love the tapered foot with the brass ferrule. Yes. Okay.
Oh, yes. A ferrule is another name for like a metal cap on a foot.
Yeah. So it's like,
So if you have,
a great accent. And I really love the hardware, the pull rings that we put on this. I feel like really made it feel a lot more modern than maybe just a traditional knob. It's just a really clean piece of interest, but it feels modern and elevated.
And it's so pretty. And I'm like not usually someone that, I'm like not a bar card girl. I don't know. Bars are just not really very exciting to me. But that one is.
I just think there is like so much function. You are going to love it. And you might not be able to tell, but again, this subtle curve continues here, and it's on the doors.
Yeah, what's up with the concave curve? Because I do feel like that's unusual, but it's really pretty.
I think it's just that opulent, the way it plays with your eye. It's kind of like convex mirrors and such. It's the way that it's not so perfect in a way. I mean, it is perfect. The way the curve is drawn, it is perfect. But do you know what I mean? But I think it just adds that little bit of
movement.
I think it's unexpected too. I mean, it would have been really easy to just make it a rectangle, but to really spend the time to really have those cutouts and those accents,
it's going to feel special.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it truly will feel
really pretty. So y'all did a good job.
Good job.
Go team.
Way to work it. I'm excited to see how people will put this together. So if anyone does end up purchasing this, I'd love to see it decked out. Yeah, I know it's going to be beautiful.
Well, the shots we had at the sideboard in that dining room with the buffet lamps, and I think we did like a Venetian mirror on top, I want to say, or something.
Yeah, Carolyn's in charge of making it like,
it looks really pretty.
And the blue and white Benoiserie jars. That's actually, I love the blue and white on that bottom shelf.
Yeah. If you have a collection,
right,
like that you really want to kind of display of either pottery, like this is a great one for that. Or sculptures, because it has just enough height that you really can truly put some really pretty things for display.
Are we going to add any more pieces to that collection?
We shall see. There is a round dining table in the works. And then I guess we'll continue to see how
people like it. Yeah.
Right. The customer responds, and, maybe there could be more color. Maybe there could be some other pieces that go with it. So
it's really,
we're open ears, guys. You just got to wait 2 years after you tell us. The other one that is fun too for dining is we have this Lucy.
Oh my gosh,
Taryn. Yeah, she is so fun. So the opposite of this, like if you are definitely going for something a little sweet and different, you are going to love it. It is a round, and it has this apron detail that has this little kind of swirl.
Like it's not
it's a doodle. It's like a little loopy doodle. And it's only could be done by Taryn. It is like the most adorable little doodle swirl.
It's a very subtle, small, and it's in a little contrast, so it will really read, like people will be able to see it. And it just, again, it's a detail. It's going to feel special. Nobody's going to look at this and be like, oh, you are going to love this table for a long time.
Yeah. And I love that it's like a hair deeper in color.
Yes.
It's not the same, it's almost a taupe.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's basically like Balboa Mist versus White Dove. Yeah. So it's just a tiny bit of difference, but enough that your eye really focuses in on that detail.
Mm-hmm. It looks like, I think this table would be a great foil if you've got maybe a set of antique chairs or something that you are worried to feel heavy or, are dark or something that are, super.
Yeah. And it's 60 inches. So
it's big. Yeah.
You are going to entertain. Yeah. 6+ people on this. And you're going to.
It looks great with the blue Dana chair.
It does. And it is that great pedestal too, that if you have some kind of banquet system too, like that you'd fit great around it as well.
This would be a pretty one. Like if you are shopping for a dining table now, but you don't necessarily have your forever home, like this could be a formal dining room or a breakfast room. So I think that I think is always nice to consider when you're shopping.
Oh, we do have another new table, this deep-based one with this wood top.
Oh yeah, that's
what I was going to say. If you purchase that one, it could be very small, and then you could end up being in an entryway very easily.
Yeah, Rebecca's 54 inches.
Yeah. So she's a little bit smaller. She's kind of in between.
That's always the hard thing about dining room or dining tables to me. They are so room specific.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a square room, you have to have a round table. I mean, a rectangle is just going to be really weird.
It just won't use the space as well.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then if you've got a rectangular table, if you use a round one, then you've got all this empty space. You have it's just, and so I think at least a round table, you'll always probably be able to find a spot for it because to your point, it could be an entry table, it could be a breakfast table.
Yep. Oh man, we didn't.
We haven't even. I mean,
I know. I'm still
there's
going.
so many things.
Oh man. Already talked 35 minutes. Didn't feel that.
We need to talk about Dover, like the bedroom.
Okay.
Why? You love it?
Yeah,
because need it, want it. No, I love Dover. So back to the Bobbin.
Okay, back to the bobbin. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Tell us.
Oh, wait, no.
Oh, we got to look that up.
I'm looking it up.
All right. So I'll kind of just start talking about
history of it.
Dover. Right. Okay. So Taryn will come, but really, I mean, we're really super excited about bedroom. Want to be able to provide more collections for the customer. And really, I think most customers more in bedroom than any other space in their home want to buy a set. So I think they want to really just make it easy, make sure everything goes together, not make it complicated and all this mix and match. So this collection is really great because there are options. So, you have that great spool type bobbin bed. And then you have a small nightstand, a little bit larger nightstand. You have a wide dresser. You have a tall dresser. So this is really one of the first times that we're providing all those options for the customer to choose. And we're launching it in chestnut, and then we'll be bringing out in navy. So it's, really like that timeless chestnut that can mix in with your white pieces, really span across design styles. And then we'll also have kind of that muted navy that could go coastal, or, it could go blue and white. It could go a lot of different directions. But Dover, I think, was executed extremely well. The craftsmanship is insane. So I'm sure this is going to be a home run for us for sure. Oh, and I didn't mention also a chest size. So it's really kind of like 3 options for your nightstand. So you can even put that chest in between 2 twin beds and, a kid's room to use that space. Or you could put it in, like a landing or an entryway to use the chest. So beautiful
the bed
detail.
Is really a showstopper.
It's insane.
And there was something about the way that we sort of styled it in some of our photography. We did like lots of browns. It had a deep brown wall that it is just so freaking cozy. And I loved how it turned out.
I think you guys did a really great job with the layering of all those, like the print and the textures of the different browns and that bedding. There it is right there. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. And it just looks so warm and inviting for sure.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. It's that perfect piece you really could see.
And there is nothing more classic to me than a poster bed. I think that they just always, in your bedroom, you want the bed to be the focal point, right? Like you want to walk in, your bed be straight in your line of sight, and you want it to be dramatic. And that is kind of design-wise what you're looking for every bedroom. And the scale of a poster bed just does that, like right out of the gate.
But I don't feel like it's overwhelming. I think that's what I really like about this 4-poster is that it's not like a big canopy. There's, feeling like the ceilings are coming down on you and it's too much. It's a visual impact kind of statement, but also it's not hiding, things won't be having to hide behind those posters.
Yeah.
What'd you learn, Taryn?
I learned that it was around the late 16th, early 17th century when all the bobbin furniture came out. It was a series of small knobs made with the lathe. So I think it was a technology sort of thing where, again, the lathe, they were able to create these beautiful turnings and knobs that stack and create this beautiful texture. So it definitely is a symbol of refinement and elegance across England and Holland, where it definitely came from. So it was definitely craftsmanship. Timeless charm, and a spindle. So it's known as spool, spindle, bobbin, all of which are, a series of turnings. So
it's kind of you're basically taking a piece of wood and you're turning it on a, would you say like lathe? Yeah.
Yes, it is a lathe. Yes,
and carving it into this perfect sphere.
And I think especially the way that this was designed, it was kind of those wide, kind of like a little squished circle, and then we really wanted to accentuate the space in between so it would feel a little delicate and not feel like big globs. And I think it was executed really well, and it just looks soft, but also substantial.
Yeah. The like the proportion of the bobbin and the space in between them, I don't know. You'll have to see a picture. Yeah, like it looks refined.
Yep.
Yeah. Not heavy. pretty.
Yeah,
We do have another
piece.
canopy bed though.
We do.
Oh,
Or poster bed, I guess. It's not.
Are we talking about
canopy?
I mean, I call it canopy when the posters are connected.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense.
because you can attach that. You can do.
You could do a
You
canopy.
Could put panels on
You
it.
could put panels.
So
So
I
it's
would
called
say
the Lily canopy bed.
yes,
it is
and
fully upholstered, guys. You are going to die.
It is.
Done.
Yeah,
delicious.
such a designer
I
look. Yeah,
Insane.
Want it so badly.
it's so pretty.
It is.
Where do you want to
so
put it?
impactful?
Like, where are you?
Oh, in my I want a king size for my master.
Oh my
I
gosh, you
want
have the
this.
vaulted ceilings and
Yes.
that would be so beautiful.
Yeah, I have high ceilings, and because they're vaulted, you need that visual kind of stopping point. I think it really elevates and it brings your eye up.
Yeah.
So I think a canopy or a poster really help
What
in a
fabric
vaulted
is
space.
it?
I don't even know, because that room's a blank slate. Literally, we've done nothing in there, so I could use that literally as the jumping point. I
Yeah.
could pick a fabric
Just
I
have to
love
film
and
on
just
something. Yeah.
literally go from there.
It's so.
But
pretty.
it is, the legs are fully bolstered to the floor. The rails, the ceiling rails are all fully bolstered. You are just going to die.
It's freaking gorge. The way we shot it with the Moravian star pendant inside the canopy was so pretty. And this is another one where we obviously love blue and white, right? It's classic.
Sure.
But we added, we wanted to kind of add some of that dimension we talked about. So we added this pink grass cloth to the
Mhm.
wall. And it's the same pink we have here in the podcast room. I'm pretty sure it's the same
Looks
pink
familiar,
grass cloth.
yes.
But God, it just looks so good. And, we did all blue and white bedding. We did this
Yeah.
great sort of shell. I think that some of the merchants were like, this is going to be a lot. Y'all
I'm
really
sure.
questioned
I was
our,
kind of
our
like, are you
yeah.
sure? But I mean, you
Our
guys
direction
executed it. And
Mhm.
I mean, it's just such a showstopper with that
Mhm.
fabric. I
Mhm.
mean, it just makes such a statement.
Well, and so everyone who's just listening and can't
Yes.
see it yet too, the headboard itself is actually heightened. It is shape.
Yeah.
There's a shape to it.
it's a
So
scout.
you're not.
What would you say?
I just meant I do know in the marketplace there are quite a few that are just fully upholstered canopies, but having the headboard that is shaped really
Even more
just makes it
special.
even. I mean, this is like
Yeah.
a beautiful fabric shell. Like if you love fabric, this is the great bet for you, because
Yeah.
the impact will be there, and it will make the room sing. Like you will build
Yes.
a room around it.
And, kind of to our point earlier about having a large repeat, without the headboard being the shape that it is, you kind of lose the fabric. So if you are doing a pattern, you're only getting like 2-inch sections of pattern unless
Yeah.
you have the headboard. So the fact that the headboard has so much square footage, or I
Mhm.
guess like
Surface area.
surface area. That's what I was looking for.
I got you.
Because the headboard has so much surface area, you're really getting a read on the pattern, which I think is nice. Because if it were just clipped off at the top,
You're right.
you wouldn't see the
full-
pattern. It would only make sense for it to be a solid,
Oh, speaking of long beds, you guys are like, I'm pivoting. I'm so sorry. I'm excited about this too. You guys, you know how the long bolsters are like,
Oh my God, they're so good.
about this too. Who doesn't need a long bolster on a
I'm
bed?
so excited.
The day
48 inch
I was
on
gonna say.
the King. I've already gone through all the fabrics and looked at customized what it would look like, which one I need.
put in cart. It is purchased.
too.
I just have to figure out which bed I'm doing it on and where. Guys.
Yeah, and even the
Hot.
velvet looks
Our
killer.
velvet,
The
the
stocked
velvet ones.
Yeah.
Yes, we have some stocked ones in velvet that are fantastic.
Okay, wait. Let's go back and explain.
Wait,
Okay,
okay. That.
Does everyone? Okay, everyone.
We
deep
got a
breath.
little excited.
Okay. I'm sure you've all seen those great round, they look like Tootsie Rolls, and it's a bolster.
We all had them in the 80s, but the fabric continued like a Tootsie Roll.
Yes,
It had the ends.
Wings.
I like how we're like
Yeah.
the excess fabric came out, and then there's a bow on it, which
Yes.
probably will be all the rage tomorrow.
You'll see in about 2 years.
Yes.
Right.
I'll see it tomorrow. Now that I've said this, but
But yeah, it's got the nice little trim on the edge, like a little cylinder, and it's the perfect accent pillow for your bed because you've got your shams, you got your pillows you sleep on, have the
this.
bolster on
And
there.
that's why I like it because
and one and done.
My husband for sure is like,
I was gonna say, it's
enough
for
with the
the-
pillows. So I think it's a great compromise. This oversized bolster and the oversized lumbar, where you have a king and you have a 48 inch, or you have a queen and it's 36. It really just makes a great statement with just shams that you don't have to have 6 throw pillows that you have to find a place to store. It just makes such an impact.
A minimalist. This is a great, like if you tend to just not want all the clutter of pillows, like this is a perfect cap. Like,
and these pillows have been hard to find. I think anyone that's looked, like you can get something custom made on Etsy, which is, love those Etsy sellers.
Sure.
I love an Etsy shop, but they're hard to find in a variety of patterns, fabrics, and sizes. So
I think that's the biggest thing is a lot of the, yes, there's Etsy, but there's also other websites that sell the, large bolsters, but they maybe have 5 fabrics.
Right.
Whereas we have almost 300. So you can kind of,
library,
options. They have so many more options.
You can send in your own fabric because it's COMable.
Yep.
I feel like we don't talk about COM enough on the podcast, which is probably a big miss for us, but customers own material. That's what that stands for. And it is a trade lingo in the design community, but we have it customer facing, which is unusual.
Yes.
And so anyone can send us yardage. I don't know what the custom bolster requires. It's probably like 5 yards or something, or maybe it's 3 yards.
You could cover the whole lily bed in whatever fabric you want.
That is true.
You own some yardage.
Yes.
But it's the bolster.
You would need like
the bolster might be a lot less yardage.
With the bolster.
Yeah.
But you can send us, 3 yards or whatever it is of your favorite fabric, and we will turn that into the bolster cover for you, ship it back to you with the bolster insert, and that way you get a custom pillow. So yes.
Amazing.
So we've got all 300 of ours, but you can also send your own.
A modern sofa, like one bolt, like
we showed it on a sectional, and I thought it looked killer.
I really like that because I actually saw that picture because I have a larger sectional, and my husband sits on one side and I sit in the other side because we both want to be where we can put our drinks down. And then it feels like a king and a queen at a really long dinner table back in the day.
Yeah.
Where you're like trying to have a conversation, but you're like 6 feet away from one another. And so no one really sits in the middle when the kids aren't home. So I'm like, it would actually be really nice to just have a bolster so you feel like, all right, it's done. It's decorated. Yeah. We feel good with that.
Totally. Yeah. Like on a big sectional, it's like the no man's land where it's weird to have a pillow. Your pillows are like in the corner.
22-inch pillow on an island by itself.
Yeah. I thought it looked great. That sectional in the stripe looked amazing.
Which one was
the
kitchen one?
It was a living room where we did our Keaton sectional in a green and white stripe.
Oh yes.
And then we put the bolster on it, and it just it looked so pretty. I loved that space. That was another one where we were like, okay, look, we're gonna do this huge sectional. We're doing a stripe, and they're like, oh no, you're crazy.
And you're like, we're doing it. We're crazy. You're right. Remember this time of year too, guys, which I know no one wants to hear this, but this starts to be the creep of holiday season. And so August is that start of school, and then it starts to catch speed, guys. And before it's coming. So there is some fantastic, we have this entertaining set with acorns, like this beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful tabletop as well to start thinking about and purchasing. Before you know it, you're going to be thinking about Thanksgiving. And I know Halloween is already out in stores, which you guys all know I love.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that collection's really nice because it has silver and gold / brass really too. So you don't have to stick to the specific metal. You can only mix it up.
And I love that you did the acorn because
you love an acorn.
It can be harvest. It can be Christmas. It can be Thanksgiving.
More year-round. Like if it were a gourd, a gourd is like you would only use in the
harvest
in the fall. But I feel like an acorn you could use year-round, and it's not so thematic, I suppose.
Just a good way to put it. Oh, and there's some beautiful embroidered linens. They are beautiful.
Oh, yeah, with the little leaf
and white. They have this little floral motif. Like if you have like
in a fringe.
Oh my gosh. So you guys, between us and...
Okay, we also skipped right over that Hewitt sofa, which I think is so pretty.
Really all over the place. I can't wait for people to be like, we can't even follow on the website.
I will say, we're trying to
Kelly is trying.
We're going to try to get this up on YouTube so that you can at least see the images that we're talking about. But we do have this new sofa that I think is great looking, and it is also concave, right?
Yes.
Yep. Concave, not convex.
Trends.
Yes.
The subtle
So
curve.
it kind of curves inward a little bit.
Okay.
It's gorgeous.
With a really beautiful bench.
With a bench seat, a great, like, super
that needs
tapered
one cushion.
Mm-hmm.
In case anyone's wondering, it's gorgeous.
And this fabric I love this fabric. It is so
What is
pretty.
the fabric in this shop?
It's a Krypton fabric. It's called Bennett. And the thing that I like about it, it has a lot of gradation. It's not a solid. It has, lighter and darker threads in it to where it has a really just elegant, I think, it's really soft, has a great hand. And just that gradation, I think, makes it more sort of camouflage stains.
Exactly. I feel it's much more livable when you have kind of like maybe that heathered feel. So
Heathered,
you don't kind of just see like, even just like a handprint or anything else like that. And you're not like, when people have to vacuum their carpet and there's like those lines. Yeah. I mean, anytime there's like kind of like a heathered or anything like that, it will, yes, it's Krypton, so you can get any stain out. But even just those day-to-day little things, it won't look tired.
Yeah. And like the colors, I think it has like 5 colors, and I just thought every single one of them was really pretty. Yeah.
Well, the Maggie sofa in leather. We added a bunch of sofas in leather this season, which again just feels so right for
fall. And an extended length.
And an extended length.
Yeah, so it goes up to 96 inch now.
Wow.
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
Yeah, so if you've got a big room,
like you can, you guys have to check out the Maggie. It's so traditional. It has beautiful little turn legs.
Okay, while we're looking at this room though,
Caroline still wants this room.
I'm obsessed with this room.
Go back.
I thought it turned out so well. Okay, there's several things I like. I love that sofa. The wallpaper was so pretty, but look at that Windsor mirror on the back wall.
Oh.
Go to the other page. Nope. Like the product page behind it.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. This mirror,
so it's
over the sideboard
with a
it's
carving on top.
It is.
Oh my gosh, it's just so pretty. And then I also love that lamp. There's something about that lamp that I just think it will look fabulous in any room.
The goldish gourd.
Yeah, it's a mercury glass.
It's mercury glass. Oh,
right.
It's mercury glass.
And
how do they make it look so goldish?
It's just kind of, you can do mercury and it leans
like
more.
Champagne.
You can kind of add to it.
I mean, go in so many spaces.
But I love how exaggerated that bottom gourd is. Like, it's just so huge.
And it's a little squished.
Right.
Which sounds not appealing, but
it really is
pretty
gorgeous.
Yeah. And then, things you can't see. First off, that's my favorite lampshade. I talk about this all the time, but that lampshade, I'm telling you, that lampshade in particular looks good on every single lamp that we put it on.
I'm glad.
And then it has a really pretty coordinating finial on top. That is
nice.
It's
great detail.
It's just very well done. And the proportions, I think, are perfect.
All right, well, back to
Sorry, I'm going to stop.
No, well, the curve
and
goes so well
with on our homepage, right? Isn't that something
that
in the
probably
shop?
won't be by the time.
So it's so beautiful.
But yeah.
You'll have missed.
Anyway, I just loved this whole room, and I just think it's so pretty.
Could you just move right in?
Yeah. Well, and we did the same thing again. It's all blue and white, but we added these sort of accents of like a spicy kind of red orange that I thought looked really nice in here. And that floral drapery. And anyway, I just thought it was pretty.
It is.
Well, it is really pretty. I was going to say mine are all continue to be all over the board because I wanted to mention that we added another LED lamp.
In different colors. In the scallop?
No, this is a little black one. I think its name is Terry. Terry, guys. You are going to like Terry. So we had a little scalloped one. So we also have a scalloped one. So now we've added a second. So the Terry is a little more masculine, in my opinion.
A library, yes.
Mm-hmm. So it is. It's based off an antique library lamp, but it's LED. So again, it can go anywhere.
Yeah.
You just recharge it. So literally dinner parties outside in the fall, you could easily do it there. You can scoot it around wherever you need, just a little light under cabinetry. It's going to be another great one. So hopefully stylistically, if the scallop one was just not your style, this will hopefully kind of fill that because it's black and gold and it's just gorgeous.
I love how the shade is attached to the rest of it too. It has those kind of arms. It has almost kind of like a button going on the outside of the shade. That detail is really cool.
Yeah.
The fact that it's two-tone, I think just really elevates it, honestly.
Yeah. It truly looks like it should be on a library table in like, the Library of Congress or something. Not that I've ever been there. I have no idea
right
what
to
sort
me.
of lighting, but
We do love a library room, especially in the fall too.
Yes.
In like a cozy little spot.
And mix in the leathers.
Oh,
Like a hunting lodge vibe library.
Okay, I feel like we should talk about naming.
oh, because
Valerie, share with our listeners about the naming. Yes, since you were talking about Taryn.
I feel like I would love to hear how other companies do it, especially someone like OPI, a nail polish company.
I have a feeling it's a bunch of marketing people in a room coming up with a lot of those nail polish names. Here at Ballard, what we do is, I'd say, let me think of, we really try to, the merchant team names each style. And, we've already gone through so many amazing names that we already have products for. And so we're constantly trying to come up with a name that we have not used. So, whether you're looking at baby names or what you're doing, and then you're like, okay, this looks like a lamp that would be, so for example, once we did a antler chandelier and it was like, what is this name going to be? And so then I'm like on Walt Disney's website looking at Bambi. What was Bambi's mom's name? Can we name our chandelier that? So we try to really have it, if it looks more feminine, we usually want a feminine name to go with it. So Terry, I think, is really interesting on this one. I'm not sure exactly where that came from.
I don't know.
But, I think like Naomi for bow and inlay, that just seems sweet. And it has those scallops, that little drinks table. It makes sense. So, if you have some great ideas for names, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah.
We're always open. We would love to name things after you. If you have a new grandchild, you want us to use that name, please let me know and we'll find a product that we can accommodate that request on.
This is always a hot button topic internally because, people have opinions about the names and whether it was a successful name. Did you spell it right? Did you use the wrong vowel? And
But
I definitely know that,
it has changed as it develops. Unlike
for
a baby, like unlike your child, when your name at birth, it might not look like what you named it. There's a lot of times the merchants or, Valerie will work with me. And at some point I've designed a kitchen owl that no longer looks like whatever name. And so it'll be like,
the name needs to change too.
Yes. Names will change.
It's got to coordinate with the vibe for sure.
Right.
So it's not like a birth certificate per se. We will, we will
change your birth
change it.
certificate.
Oh, that's true.
I know you could change your name.
People doing that.
That is true.
Like Kylie Jenner.
Yeah.
Change your kid's
That's
name.
true. I apologize. Right. But we also do that with it.
It's more of the exception, not the norm. With real names, but with product names, it happens pretty frequently.
Well, we really do try to
a lot of
take
TV
from
characters.
ideas.
Like I remember there was a fabric we called Reina that was like during the height of like the show Nashville. I don't know. There's
for sure.
Lots of,
I've used a lot of Sex in the City names when that was coming, and then people will say, "Oh, Schitt's Creek." I remember I was like Myra Lamp, and we did David. We were like using all of those names. It's kind of like what's fresh in our mind, and we feel like it goes with that product.
Yeah.
That's how they named the dogs when I got my dog at Atlanta Lab Rescue. It was like March Madness, and so they were doing the teams that were like and so he got named Baylor because at the time that college was
were doing
the playoffs.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so we were like, oh, we like Baylor. That's good. That's fine.
I have noticed that my daughter's name is Noah. There's been 2 products named it. Birdie.
Be careful.
Yeah.
There's a Birdie chandelier, and then there was a Birdie bedding.
Birdie chandelier,
Yes.
guys. Oh,
That
check
like
that out.
Maybe it came from elsewhere, but
It is based on an antique. It is gorgeous.
It's really cute.
It's like lots of texture for a space, but it's in this gorgeous blue. You guys are you will love it.
It's pretty.
You will have to have it. Like I'm trying to figure out a place for it. It is so
a spot for it.
but like stylistically, how would you even describe that? Right? Like it's like such a good, fun, like.
There are no birds on it.
Was it based on like
There's no birds on it.
Yeah,
but you could put a bird on it.
You could.
It would be really cute in a little nursery.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of like little, a powder room even. I think it could be really great against some wallpapers.
Yeah, so good.
Actually, it would be a great sconce, like a sconce version.
Maybe you should just wait, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe you need to just stop predicting.
What a great idea.
Wink, wink.
But even look at the canopy. You know, they really paid attention to the detail there and made it special. It's not just a round
on your
piece.
ceiling.
Right. That's like what goes on the actual ceiling.
Yeah, the canopy. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, how long have we talked? I feel like they know every piece.
Okay.
Yeah, they've heard about every single piece.
Yeah.
That is it. You
Get on
guys
the website pronto. Yeah, hit the button that says new arrivals and just go through the pages.
You will literally see everything that you need.
Yes, and it's in the show notes, so you can go to the show notes. And if you do want to get on YouTube and watch the video version of this, then you're welcome to, because then we'll also have photography. So you can see exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about it. You won't be like on your phone scrolling.
Unless you are driving.
Yeah.
In which case you have to wait.
Yes.
But yes, it is easy to find, and you're going to. I would love to hear what you guys think.
In my notes, so we didn't even get to cover, but that's okay.
Or long-time listeners, and now whoever wants. We'd love to hear what you're loving.
Yes,
what are you most excited to see?
Yeah.
I would love to hear it, just because I'm always interested.
Yeah.
You know, and make sure we can all have the most beautiful homes that make us happy all the time.
I feel like we need like an Instagram poll where we can just say, comment below all of your favorite things,
your favorites,
and then start tallying them up and seeing what the customer is voting for.
Well, I love on like when Whitney sends out the new items
on Mondays. We can just see what's sold for the past week. It just is it's not a deep dive. It's just a really quick, okay, here's how many we sold. And it's crazy because I was driving to the mountains on Saturday and Karen Mooney, our president, texted me and was like, we sold a Dover bed and 2 nightstands. And it's just like, that's the excitement that we get after pouring, so much time and effort on these products. Yeah. And then when the customers are feeling it and are excited about it and starting to purchase at the very beginning when it launches, that excitement is just amazing.
Yeah. And I just love that this collection truly speaks to what we've talked about for so long and the things we continue on here to want. And I'm excited to get my hands on a few of these pieces.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had.
You did a great job.
So it's really fun.
So congratulations.
Oh, I thank you.
And you shot it very nicely and planned it and marketed it.
You definitely.
And you really, I mean, this speaks to it. It's really, you pulled all those different elements together. And I think that's so helpful to understand, how, if you kind of just saw some of these things separately, you would say, how would these go together? And it might be a little intimidating, but I love how you really mixed all those different pieces and it really breaks it down how they can be together and become a knockout of a room.
Yeah. I mean, when y'all get us good product, not that you don't, not that there's ever a time
every once in a while,
but like when we get the new stuff, it's like, oh my gosh, can't wait to play.
Yes.
Yeah. And I really think you guys are going to love some of the traditional elements that we really, that you're going to recognize and have wanted, down to even like botanical prints, guys. Some of those
there's some great art. Oh my gosh. The insects.
Art this time too. They're so good.
Why? I'm not a bug person.
Yeah, but it is. There is something about it. I mean, I think we're going to send you a trip to the antique store for sure with this launch. Yeah. And you can still have a piece that feels like you hunted for it all weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so good.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you, Valerie, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Taryn, thanks for sharing all of your behind the scenes knowledge.
Yeah.
It's always fun to hear that.
I know. I apologize. I had to look it up. I did try to look up some of these materials.
Well, like you said, you're like 2 years out. So you've already forgotten all of this by the time we're talking about it.
It is true. When we talked about this episode and I was like, what is launching? Because I'm working on product for 26 at this point. So I'm very where are we at? What we do?
Yeah.
So it's fun to see it all come to life though. And for all of you to enjoy it. So like I said, I cannot wait to hear what you guys think.